and welcome everybody once again to another incredible season of Formula One. Meow. Oh, that's done my throat in. Oh, yeah, and I've come across in another thing here, so never mind. Formula One testing and review, preview of the 2021 Formula One season. I'd like to welcome, as always, the expert Italian, who is an expert on Italians, Fabio.
Hey, how you doing?
Welcome, Fabio. I'm so glad to be here with you. This will be probably our 5th year doing this together.
Yeah, maybe. Right.
Good. And of course, it's just you and me again. So
right, because fuck the others, right?
That's fucking great. That's just great.
It is.
And as usual, we disagree on just about everything. Is that correct?
No.
Excellent. There we go. So that's the proof we needed. So to move on, we've got some incredibly amazing seasonal stuff coming up this year. But first, something very, very to change the mood and come down right away. The fantastic and legend Murray Walker passed away this week. And so I'm very sad. I actually cried. I will be honest. I cried. Because I've been with Murray. Well, he was the commentator right at the beginning when I first started watching Formula One, which was probably 1978, maybe even earlier, 77, somewhere around there, 76 probably. And I remember him. Well, through all of those races, 40 years of races, he was there, and now he's not, and it's sad. Managed to meet him once at Goodwood, and he was a lovely chap. I didn't get to speak to him because the guy I was with, my mate, went, "And now there is Murray Walker!" from about 20 feet away. Everybody turned around and looked, and I went, I guess I can't speak to Murray then.
Yeah.
So I just turned around to my mate and "You cock." And that was it. But he did hear me say "you cock," and he turned and looked. Obviously he was looking. And he smiled and walked on. So I thought, well, that's nice anyway. But yeah, what a plonker. But nonetheless, I remember all too well so many famous phrases, so many cock-ups. Such things as, and Nigel Mansell overtakes and into first place. Well, he would be in first place if he was in the lead. Which is brilliant. Just Murray Walker all over. And amazing commentary. Oh, and another classic that sticks out to me when he was talking about Schumacher was Schumacher overtakes, so let's just say all's fair in love and war, and this is revolution, which I just always thought is a fantastic fucking phrase, whichever way you look at it.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
It's really Monty Python, It doesn't make any sense, but it's funny anyway. So yeah, fuck it.
Yeah, well, it kind of does make sense.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
It doesn't. He was talking about him overtaking a teammate.
Right.
So this is just brilliant.
Yeah.
But anyway, there's so many memories, and he will be sorely missed because he was fantastic. I actually remember him commentating before he did Formula One. He used to commentate on like rallycross when it was new in this country, and he got so excited about it, so mad about it because it was such a nutty sport.
Yeah.
Yeah. And just fantastic. Great memories, of course, and he was there through all of the highs and lows. Damon Hill, famously winning as world champion. He was there. He was there that time Gilles Villeneuve and his teammate Didier Pironi maybe had that massive battle at wherever it was, South Africa or something.
No. It was Dijon, France.
Dijon, yes, correct, absolutely right. And
it's fantastic because that was the battle for second and third.
Yeah.
Pironi won, and I remember an interview said, I won that race. I think it was the first race that a turbo car won. He said, I won that race. Nobody fucking remembers me.
Yeah. Because I mean, Gilles Villeneuve was just so incredible. I mean,
Yeah.
he was so incredible.
It
And
was
so,
Villeneuve and Arnoux.
Arnoux as well.
Yeah.
Yes, of course, that was that period. Arnoux and Dijon. Yeah, I mean that straight is so long. The turbos really, really cranked it out, and it was scary. I think there were some crashes in testing and stuff, which were just off the wall scary. Anyway, just the great Murray Walker. He's been there through all of it. Mansell, of course, famously poking Mansell in the head to show him that he had to show the location of his injury. And he went, just take your hat off, Mansell, and show that Nigel and show them. Look, there it is. And he pointed. He went back there. And Nigel went, fuck. Just brilliant. I loved it.
Oh.
so many. Anyway, I could go on for a load. We actually used to record all of the Formula One races and then go back and pull out the little Murrayisms and phrases that we liked each race. And we did that for, I don't know, maybe 10, 15 years or something like that. So we had a whole, like a soundboard of just Murrays, right? And, such things as, there was one we edited. And he said, the lap time is 1 minute 34.5829. 983.54893.2849 approximately.
Yeah.
Oh yes, fucking brilliant. Anyway, let's get off that. It's very sad. I shed a tear because genuinely he's one of the nicest guys on British TV for a long time that I can remember. He's commentated over just about everything that's any good in motorsport. And just possibly, for my money, the best Formula One commentator ever. Not because he knew anything. He knew a lot. He knew all the people. Everybody liked him. Schumacher famously got on very well with him and gave him interviews that he wouldn't give anybody else. And genuinely speaking, Spooky's in there. Oh dear God, this nonsense is back again. Yes, Spooky.
Yes, Spooky. Fuck you.
Yeah. Back for a whole season. And when I say whole season, I'm talking 23 races.
Jesus.
Oh Jesus. Oh, 23 races. Why are they doing this? Money grabbing bastards. Anyway, that's Murray Walker. I had to mention that first. So that was the sad news. I think Murray would be amazed and would have been proud to know, though, that the 7 times world champion Lewis Hamilton is now not Lewis Hamilton. He is, in fact, Sir Lewis Hamilton.
Is he?
He is a Knight of the Realm. So congratulations to Sir Lewis Hamilton. Bow down, Sir Lewis Hamilton. The greatest race driver of all time. Let me just say that straight over. If it's got 4 wheels, Lewis will beat you in it. And he's not just the greatest race driver of all time, though. He's also a fantastic motorcyclist. He's got his own MotoGP bike. He personally knows Rossi, and Rossi said he's probably the fastest thing. And he's glad he's not in MotoGP, because otherwise he'd probably easily win the world championship there as well.
Did he? Did he say that?
Yeah, that's a direct quote from Rossi. He said it, although to be fair, he said it in Italian.
Missed that.
He said it in Italian, and I don't understand Italian. But he basically said, the gratitude Sir Rossi, Sir Lewis Hamilton is great, etc., etc. He win everything.
Must have missed that.
Yeah, that's a direct quote.
Okay.
But nonetheless, there's that. So he's Sir Lewis Hamilton now, which is well deserved because he is the most successful British race driver of all time. And of course, the most successful race driver in Formula One ever. And is probably the world's greatest human being ever that lived or will ever live, including Jesus. So that's another thing.
Still vegetarian, though.
He's still vegetarian, and so is his dog. So you got to admire that. The dog's The dog's got dedication if nobody else does.
The dog doesn't on my dad. I can fucking guarantee you that. But yeah.
Yeah. Although I have to say now, because it always makes me laugh whenever we talk about Lewis Hamilton's dog, that Fabio said if Rosberg wants to win, he needs to barbecue Lewis's dog in the pits before a race. Oh my god, that made me laugh so hard. I think it was Valtteri Bottas you said it about.
Yeah, it was Bottas. I mean, the evening before the race, he should set up a barbecue just outside his door or hotel or whatever, and just start barbecuing dogs. Yeah.
Oh dear.
That should upset the guy, but yeah.
Yeah, it probably put him off for the race. But
and I mean, Bottas is from Finland, they probably barbecue that shit anyway, so.
Yeah. Well, biggest killer in Finland is of course reindeer.
Yeah.
So they're used to doing those. All right, I've got to get my breath back now because that's made me laugh so much. So Sir Lewis Hamilton, a Knight of the Realm, all round good egg. He's probably going to be rewarded with a country or something.
Yeah.
Himself. But anyway, driving Tom. Driving F1 cars in 2021 is totally unethical. Everybody tries to become vegan to save us from climate change, but let's drive F1 races. Good point. Good point. They are trying to make it a little more sustainable, and they've cut down. I mean, to be fair to them, they've cut down the cost of going racing, which of course will lower the carbon footprint, and they've cut it from something like, well, in Mercedes' case, maybe 350 to 400 million, and they've cut that right back. I mean, it's right back to probably 250 million. So I mean, that's a big saving right there.
Yeah. I mean, they're gonna spend all in broccoli, so they're gonna plant huge plantations of broccoli. I've heard, or something.
That's right. That is correct.
Yeah.
Although we could mention Rosberg here, who has started his own electric X-Cross racing kind of thing, which is hilarious if you're talking about saving planets.
Yeah.
Because it's an electric formula.
Mm-hmm.
And they're going to go to places where racing never normally goes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how are they going to get there? Obviously, they're going to have to fly the bloody plate to fly the cars there.
It's kind of like Formula One then, right? I mean, they race in. I mean, what the fuck they race? They race,
Sochi.
Yeah.
Baku.
Baku. Yeah.
Baku. I don't know where it is to this day.
Yeah.
I have no idea. Russia's a big country. Could be anywhere.
I mean, God forbid making a race in Germany, but or France or fucking, let's go to Baku, because
Yeah, of course, because they pay the money. Bahrain, Abu Dhabi.
Really? Yeah.
There's another new one on the map, isn't there? Recently coming up.
I don't know.
Korea?
I always see.
Is it Korea?
Maybe North Korea. Is it North Korea?
They're racing through North Korea. They don't want to stop in case they have to, in case they slow the car down too much. I got this. Hello, Gio. Welcome. And this Lewis fellow is no Nigel Mansell. That's true. This Lewis fellow is never going to grow a moustache like Nigel Mansell. So that is true right there. Although I don't think Nigel Mansell was 7 times world champion. I've got to stop doing that just for my voice because I'll never make it through. No, it's not North Korea. It's Vietnam, to be fair. I've just remembered. It's actually Vietnam in Ho Chi Minh Square. I'm making that up. I don't know where the actual race is or any cities in Vietnam. What's the big city in Vietnam? Someone tell me.
Yeah, I don't know, but being the helicopter pilot in Vietnam, that'd be really amazing. Following the flag.
Yeah, they're still using the American Hueys, so it's very atmospheric, to be fair. Which is cool.
Okay, fuck it. Can we talk about the fucking thing that happened? That nobody gives a fuck about it. But
for sure. Okay, so it's 23 races this year. And it kicked off with a limited testing session of just 3 days.
Yeah.
And instead of going to the normal test place where everybody always goes, which is
Barcelona or Valencia or those places, right?
Barcelona. Barcelona, which is where they normally go. They didn't bother going there now because it usually rains or it's cold, and they didn't know. So this time they went to Abu Dhabi, which was interesting because the first day there was a sandstorm.
Yeah.
You couldn't see fuck all, and there was sand all over the place. So
who would have guessed a sandstorm in Abu Dhabi? I mean,
in Abu Dhabi,
that was really unheard of.
Yeah, exactly. And so that really mixed up testing on the first day, which it didn't, which was okay for me because my team, Mercedes, they had a gearbox issue, so they only did like 10 laps or 13 laps the first day. But everybody else was up and running the first day, and that was great. There were some interesting things, people just bedding the cars in. There was still a lot of problems going on. Day 2 happened, the weather cleared up a bit, the sand calmed down, but the track was still pretty slippery with all the sand on it. Day 3, much better. We actually got some decent times going down, and basically the cream came to the top. And that was what was surprising. Mercedes didn't come to the top. Now, that's why I decided to put on the thumbnail sandbagging. Sandbagging because, of course, we were at Abu Dhabi. So everybody was sandbagging or teabagging. Yeah. Why are they teabagging like they do in video games? Because obviously they were so far down the list, and that is very unexpected for Mercedes. So over to you, Fabio. What do you think? Sandbagging? Yes, obviously. Teabagging.
Well, first of all, before we go there, I sensed a weakness in the force. Something that you just said. When you said, oh, my team, Mercedes, because I mean, it's been 5 years we've been doing that, and I distinctly remember, I think I've written down somewhere, that you've been a long time Williams fan, and now you're jumping ship, so yeah, good job. Oh, fuck you, but yeah, very good. Well,
that is true, yes.
Yeah. So, the tests. Well, first of all, it's a mess, because, it's really difficult to say, the real values of the car, because you never know how much fuel they've got, what they're trying to test, what they're not trying to test. So, it's always really complicated. We saw some interesting things. Apparently, Mclaren has a really interesting rear diffuser that everybody is really got everybody's attention. What else? The Honda engine seems to be, really good, not only with Red Bull but with AlphaTauri too. Mercedes is really interesting because they had a lot of problems, and I'm not even considering the gearbox problem. I don't know what the fuck happened. We probably never know. What I really found interesting was, it seemed to be that the car is a little bit more difficult than last year's car. And keep in mind that we all know that, the chassis is the same. They have a limited amount of improvement they could do on the car and, stuff like that. But the overall impression was that the car is a little bit more tricky, and especially the rear end it's a little bit more finicky and sensible. I've heard an interesting opinion on that, which I don't know if it's true, but it kind of makes a little bit of sense. So that opinion was that in order for the car to regain a little bit of downforce because of the smaller end plate that they have to use, Mercedes went with a high rake approach. Now Red Bull has been doing high rake approach for years, and it took them a long time to figure it out. And of course, if you come later, you can see what they've done. So it's not the same process in dealing out with that. But still, it's kind of an uncharted territory if you've never done that. So the opinion that I've heard about that is that a lot of the cars, and keep in mind that Ferrari tried the iRake, has tried the iRake, so they might have a slight advantage on that. But Mercedes never did. If you saw a Mercedes car, they were, really, they were flatter than all the other cars. And now they tried the iRake to regain a little bit of downforce, but it's tricky. So basically, that opinion said, they're trying that approach, but that, comes with a penalty. The penalty is that the rear end, suddenly becomes really twitchy and nervous. You lose it without too much of a. It doesn't give away too many. How'd you say? Too much feedback to the driver, and when you lose it, you lose it. And that might be problematic, especially if you've been used, to a car with a really, really planted car, really predictable car like the Mercedes has been for years. That might, make you lose a little bit of confidence and stuff like that. So, I don't know if it's true, but I thought that was kind of an interesting approach. What do you think about it?
Yeah, I think. For sure. I've been hearing some of the commentators say that the high rate cars have the advantage because, of course, it's not so important that they seal the bottom of the cars the way it is on the low rake cars. Obviously, if you have a high back end, then it's much. You're never going to get the edges of the cars sealed completely the way you can on the Mercedes, which didn't have such a high rake. So. Mm-hmm. I've heard that Mercedes have been trying to jack up the rear end, and I think you're absolutely spot on to point to their lack of pace is down to the fact that they don't know how to energize the extra, the gap between the bottom of the diffuser and the ground, and they just don't know how to do it. So I would say 100% that would explain the lack of pace, and it's a large lack of pace, right, that Mercedes have got. Except on long runs, right? On long runs, they're still all right. So, yeah, I think your first point is spot on. Mercedes' work in the next 2 weeks, is going to be to make sure that they try and regain some of what they've lost. And most of it's down to, as I believe has been shown by other teams that have tried the high rake approach and failed, it comes down to suspension. The rear suspension is the most important part of trying to get the underneath of the exit of the car energized, and the air around the rear wheels is what spoils that effect. So they're going to have to do something with that.
So
sorry, hang on a second. Welcome to Maya. Hello, you're very welcome here for the first time. Fabio and Simos. Go on.
We have a question and a comment. Do you want to go there before? Because there was another point that I want to make. But
please do. Yeah, you go.
Okay, so the other point was Ferrari, but not really Ferrari. A little bit more about the engine in Ferrari. And what was that? About a month ago, I think that it was Mika Salo. You correct me if I'm wrong, but it's an ex-F1 driver, which is now part of the FIA, whatever the fuck. And apparently, in an interview, he kind of slipped the fact that last year, because of the clusterfuck which happened, and I'm not being partisan or funny, whatever, but I still do not understand what the fuck happened. Because you either find something which is irregular or it isn't. If it is irregular, well, it doesn't make any sense. You will agree with me. It doesn't make any sense. So he slipped in an interview. He slipped that basically he said that the FIA found something that it was not irregular. but they they decided to put a stop on it. And apparently, I mean, this is what he said, right? So what they made was to impose less fuel on all the Ferrari engines, all of them, including Alpha, and that would explain the lack of performances of last year. And I know you're shaking your head, but to me it kind of makes a little bit of sense for two reasons. So first of all, let's say one thing. Last year car was a dog. Okay, that there is no mistake in that. So the car had problems. First of all, but it would explain some of the some of the performances that they had in qualifying, and the huge difference that was last year between qualifying and race. Because if you're forced to run with, I don't know, I'm just saying the number, I don't know if it's the right number because you didn't say that, if you're forced to run with, like, I don't know, 5% less of fuel of the other one, that is a huge performance drop because you got to get to the end. So that kind of makes a little bit of sense. And again, the improvement that they made this year with the engine, and the data is there. I mean, Sainz made a respectable time. It was the first of the humans, and by humans, I mean, the Red Bull seems to be on a fucking another planet right now. AlphaTauri with Tsunoda, coming to a comment that Geosam made. It was really impressive. But you can't really get back, something like 30 horsepower, or 40 in one season where everything is locked down. So, I mean, I don't know what you think about that, but, that to me kind of makes sense. And that might explain some of the things we saw last year. And again, keep in mind that, the car was, fucking terrible. They got sixth in the championship, but even with a terrible car, that would not explain the huge performances between qualifying and the race itself. But anyway, that was just my thought. And
right. That was the question you wanted to address, was it? Could be
exciting. Well, that was the comment. Actually, Tom made a question about rain tires in Abu Dhabi. So the tires, there you go. So tires are brought by Pirelli, and they actually bring the tires according to the circuit. They bring usually 3 sets of tires or 2 sets of tires or whatever, but they decide which kind of tires to go on which track with the data they get from all the teams. And, there is like, a common agreement on the kind of tires. Rain tires and intermediate tires are excluded from that pool of tires that every team can choose, because so once they bring the tires in, all the teams choose among the pool of tires. And I think they can pick I can't remember if it's 6 set of tires or stuff like that for the whole weekend. 5 stuff. Well, X amount of.
I think they're just given tires now, and I think they have a limited set of each number, and every team has the number given.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Anymore. Yeah.
No, that's what I meant. I mean, they have the team choose. They have a limited amount of set of tires.
Yes.
Rain tires and intermediate tires are excluded from that pool, meaning that if there is a change in the weather or stuff like that, that goes beyond the set of tires, the normal set of tires that the team can choose.
Yeah.
So, having said that, I don't think that Abu Dhabi has ever seen a single set of wet and intermediate tires.
No, ever. I mean, I would imagine they do bring some because they're not stupid to say. Well, I don't know. Maybe they look at the forecast and go, 1% chance. All right, it's worth bringing them. I don't know. But I just want to say a huge thank you there to Tom, who's made Fabio talk about tires in the very first episode. So I think that's brilliant right there, because obviously I would have talked about tyres anyway. So that's cool.
So good.
Okay, so another question. We'll do another question here from Geo Sam. What do you think about the Halo safety device, Fabio?
Oh, I mean, I mean, what I think is not really important. I think that you should make that question to Grosjean.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay, so Grosjean had a crash in Abu Dhabi, I believe, last year.
Yeah.
The end of last year, and his car went through a metal fence.
Yeah.
Right through it.
Yeah.
And burst into flames, and he jumped out basically from the other side of the fence, right? Because it like a bullet, it went through this fence.
Right. Right.
And he survived because of the halo, clearly, because the halo didn't deform, and it left him enough space to keep inside safe. He jumped out, got out, and all he did is burn his one foot and one hand.
Yeah, I mean, the front of the tire was on one side of the metal fence, and the rest of the car was on the other side. So chances are that without the halo, I would say that something like 7/10 of the body of Grosjean would have been on one side and 3/10 on the other side, with really, really few chances of actually reattaching them together. So yeah,
no chance, because of the fire damage would have cauterized just about every in going. But anyway, it was a small miracle. I mean, in the old days, we've seen crashes like that, and of course, they've hardly ever recovered the body. So, amazing. And he's not the only one to have benefited. I believe Leclerc also got in trouble with a car hitting his halo at one point. So. An amazing safety device. I'm glad they're on there now. Beforehand, I was kind of scoffing a little bit. I knew they had to go on once they'd come up with the idea, right? Like with most safety ideas, you can't say no to a safety idea because it's just safety. But at the same time, of course, the cars don't look as good as they used to look. Yeah. They've become monstrosities, right? They're bigger than an SUV. You know what I mean? And they're crazy big compared to how they used to be. They weigh like 200 kilos more than they used to weigh. I mean, this is huge amounts, so the performance has really suffered. But at the same time, they are safe. So we're not getting the crashes it used to be when I first started watching Formula One. Speaking of which, there was probably 3 drivers a year dying, something like that, maybe. Not necessarily all on track, but certainly one would die on track. And then, well, not when I started watching, when I first got interested, I should say, in the mid 70s. And then later on in the 80s, it was much better, but people were still getting, or people were having big accidents and never coming back to Formula One again. Now it seems they can have a big accident and they're at the next race. So, yeah, the safety is an incredible thing. I'm so glad. Tom just says, I learned something new today. Thank you, Fabio.
There you go.
That's why he's the Italian expert. Could you just give us an Italian fact, please? Cooking. I'm thinking of wine or cooking or any of the other stereotypes. The mafia. I don't mind.
Okay, let me think about it.
Any Italian stereotypes. It could be anything. Anyway, okay, well, we'll move on because I've obviously caught him unprepared there. I thought you'd have one off the top. I thought you'd say something like, well, my Don is named Giovanni. I thought that's what he'd say. That's what I thought he'd say. But anyway. Okay, so moving on. I did have another topic ready to move on to, but now I've made that joke. I've forgotten it. Okay, so... oh, dear.
Oh, shit.
Tom says pizza or pasta.
Oh, listen, I mean, that triggers me a little bit, but for the wrong reason. Because no, I'll explain to you, and this is not F1 related, because, now we're shooting shit. I've been having a really difficult time lately, because I've been waking up for days at 4 a.m. at night to watch the regattas in New Zealand.
I have too.
So... And I usually watch it on. There is a stream on Rai too. They've got really nice commentators. Elio De Angelis. People which they know what the fuck they're talking about. But they also keep the YouTube channel, there because the image is better, it's higher quality. And apparently yesterday evening there were those some, because I've got to say there are idiots everywhere all over the world apparently, but some New Zealanders will keep writing pizza pasta, and I say, okay, this is really stupid. So I had the chat immediately, because that was stupid. But that made me realize, okay, yeah, idiots are really everywhere. So yeah.
I've also noticed that is toxic, to say the least.
Yes, yeah.
And I keep writing in it Sir Lewis Hamilton, but nobody's bitten yet. Anyway, let me get back to my thing. Yeah, no,
Okay.
You're right. Williams is my team. What am I talking about? It always
I
has
don't
been.
know.
It always was. 70, even when James Hunt, the first year I watched, James Hunt won the world title against Nicky Lauda.
Mm-hmm.
And, and he was in a McLaren, of course, then, famously. But I didn't support McLaren because I thought, oh, well, it's the obvious team. Plus, Williams were quite, I don't know, there was something about Frank Williams that I really liked.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought, okay, great. And I supported Williams. And then, of course, Mansell came along. And I went, oh, fantastic, Mansell, brilliant. Oh, what can I say? The Formula One god that was the moustache that could drive a car.
Right.
And that is just brilliant. And obviously he's on the Isle of Man. I like motorbike racing, so I used to watch the Isle of Man every year.
Mm-hmm.
And Mansell was a bit of a celebrity around those parts. So yeah, it was brilliant, right? I was all into it. Then of course we had Damon Hill, great. Obviously the great Damon Hill. He's a wonderful Englishman. Has a very stoic qualities, which I like, and drives a car in a very stoic way, had a very stoic style. And then, of course, we finally got Senna into a Williams, and my expectations were off the charts. Let me just say that. And of course, that sad day in Imola with Murray commentating, the whole thing fell apart, and Williams fell apart that day. And it's never been the same since.
And by the way, you mentioned the accident in Imola the day before, and this is a lead into the question about the halo before. Frentzen died, and he died in a really similar accident to the one that Grosjean died. So yeah, I mean, if you want to if you want to have an opinion on halo, yeah, I mean. Frentzen died, and
Frentzen. Ratzenberger.
Yeah. Oh, Ratzenberger. Yeah, Ratzenberger. Yeah.
Yeah. Frentzen also had a big crash that day, I believe.
Yeah.
He crashed in exactly the same place that Ratzenberger crashed in. He just didn't. I don't think he died though. He just wrote his car off in a big Starling.
Yeah.
Which was the first thing. If we'd thought at the time, hang on a minute. You know what I mean? But of course, it was just a big crash, and which happens in Formula One, and everyone just kicks on,
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. Anyway. Anyway, so that was the end of my love affair with Williams. I still support them, of course. And of course, when I said that Mercedes are my team, I meant Lewis Hamilton is my guy. That's what I really meant. And because he's driving Mercedes, I accidentally said team. No, I'm not supporting Valtteri Bottas. Only Lewis Hamilton. Yeah. The engagement, please keep it on the low. Keep it on the low. He may be a vegan, okay, but
he is a vegan.
He is a vegan.
Yeah.
But I am interested, and I will walk his dog for free. So, just say that. If you're out there, Lewis, you're listening, contact me. We'll make a deal.
Right.
Okay. So that's fine. What's Tom saying here? Pasta pizza. People attribute. I don't know what that word is.
Oh, ciabatta.
Thank you very much.
It's like a sausage.
Yeah. Okay, with Croatians. I didn't know. I thought they were all sausages with Croatians. I thought that was a German thing, but okay, never mind.
No, it's a dish, from Bosnia, that kind of place, Croatia.
Oh, okay, Croatia.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it's close, They let's face it, they've probably been German at one point or another.
It's stereotypes, the zombie apocalypse in Britain
Exactly.
and stuff like that. Yeah.
Exactly. Okay, so that's all of that, and now moving on to the serious. Oh, hello, Pagan Mum. Thank you, Acoustic Pagan Mum. Welcome to the stream. Hello. I am actually loving your avatar. That's really cool.
Okay. let's fucking talk about some cars because it's been 40 minutes. The Alpine Alonso is back.
Alonso! I would just keep that going. Like, Alonso!
They made a car with a really big head. It's really fast in the airbox. And I've heard that one of the reasons is why they had to move some of the components from the sides, from some cooling components. They moved upper. But if you see compared to any other car, it's kind of wow. I mean, you can definitely see they got a really big head. So yeah, and maybe that is also to accommodate the huge helmet of Alonso, So yeah, and Alonso is kind of like a stick of dynamite which has been lit at the beginning of the season. We all waiting to see when it's going to make the team explode because that historically happens. What else?
Well, let me talk about that because Ocon, of course, is his teammate. Who is a very sensible and level-headed, but here's the downside, Frenchman. So that's like saying a non-passionate Italian. It's not a thing. It's just not a thing. Okay. So yeah, of course, as soon as they get into some fight in the middle of a race, bearing in mind they'll probably be at the back, so it probably wouldn't matter anyway. But just because they got two huge egos, it's going to cause an issue at some point during the race, just like it did with Lewis, back when Lewis's first season, when he was racing Alonso.
Well, Alonso's been doing that with everybody, so it's not only Lewis.
Well, yeah, no, I know, but just saying, Lewis was a rookie. He was an outsider. Nobody knew Lewis. He was a bit of and he doesn't have an ego on him particularly, other than
Lewis.
Yeah, well, other than being the greatest human being that's ever lived.
Oh, yeah.
He doesn't have an ego, obviously.
No, of course it does.
And if you're watching this, Lewis, no offense, everybody loves somebody with a huge ego, so don't worry about that.
Right.
No, I mean, as racing drivers go, is what I mean to say there, actually, Fabio. As 7-time Formula 1 world champions go, he doesn't have a massive ego.
No, not at all. I mean, he's just vegan and he made his dog being a vegan. That's not an ego thing at all. I mean...
Yeah, I saw he tweeted out the recipe of the dogs and he uses quinoa or something instead of...
oh, fuck off.
Anyway...
I need some more whiskey.
Alonso. Yeah, Alonso. I'll just talk about Alonso for the moment. So Alonso is 2-time world champion who's come back from a 2-year gap. In the meantime, he's won Le Mans. He's won some endurance racing. He's taken part in Indy 500 a couple of times. And done very well. Nearly won it the first year. He broke down 6 laps to go or something. So very unlucky. When he was in 4th place, something like that.
I mean, close enough is good for horseshoe and hand grenades, but
Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying it's a really tough race to win. So I think he did really well that first year. Didn't qualify the second year, which was just lack of money. And goes to show you that American IndyCar racing is all about how much money you can put in, just like Formula 1. So there you go. But anyway, Alonso's back. He is a very good driver, no doubt about it. And I'm excited to see him racing this year because I think he will put manners on a few people this year, not just within his own team, but I think a few other racers which haven't seen him around. Some of the younger stars are going to be a little bit amazed at the things he can do with the Formula 1 car. So I think that's going to be great. Ocon is also a very big talent. He is very young, but he's got a very mature head when it comes to tactics, racing tactics, and I think that's where he and Alonso will get on well, because they both can see the longer game from inside the car. So I think Alpine have got a really good chance this year,
Yeah.
despite the fact they've got a slow car or relatively slow car, and that they're putting the fatness up the top for cooling. That's just a dumb move. There's no doubt about it in my mind. I've seen it before. It was a bad move then. It's a bad move now. Uh, unless you
It can,
get the
it,
floor to work harder.
it kind of run me of the old Ligier. They also had big cowling.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was the Tyrrell for me, but yeah. It was an old Tyrrell which was like that. But again, drag is the important thing going down the straights, and I think we're going to find out that when we get to some of the longer straights, when you need the gearing, they're not going to have it, and you'll see them down on the top speed compared to the other cars, which is like sticking a Renault in the back of your car. Oh,
Yeah.
well, they've got a Renault already, so that's even worse then, do you see? Do you see what I'm saying? It's weird. They've got a Renault in the back, which is guaranteed not to give you a top speed, and then they go and do that. Maybe that's because they know they've got a Renault in the back. You see, I wasn't thinking. That's why they get paid. That's why they get paid the millions, and I've only got 5 people watching. Okay, so anyway, moving on. Thank you all 5 people for watching, by the way, including myself, because I am one of them. Okay, so moving on. McLaren. Over to you first. What did you think about McLaren?
It was interesting. Everybody seemed to be really stoked by the rear diffuser that they had. Seems to me they found some gray areas in the ruling. They put some fins where nobody put, and cameras were working overtime through the circuit to take pictures, and probably we'll see something like that in other cars too. But yeah, it seems to me that they made something really interesting. And yeah, I mean, McLaren. I mean, what the fuck do you want me to say? They got 2 of the most, funniest drivers there is right now. So it's a victory anyway. Lando is a nice chap. He's fast. If he starts being consistent, it's gonna be trouble for a lot of people. And then of course they got Ricciardo, which is he's a guy which has been proven himself to be able to win races. He's there. I mean, he made a decent season last year with the Renault, which wasn't a winning car, but still he managed to make some great races. So he's there if he needs to be there. And I think this is what McLaren needs to do. They need to make a kind of a jump. They have Lando, which they actually they rely a lot on him. Of course, because he's fast. He wants to learn. And now it seems to be they got a proper fast driver, which can give him some hints. It's a little bit, the same thing that Aston Martin did, with Vettel and Lance Stroll. If you want to make the comparison.
No.
Vettel, Vettel, as his roster is way more than Ricciardo, but I would say that my impression is that Ricciardo is a little bit more hungry, for victory than Sebastian has been. Is now. I don't know. I'm just judging on what happened last year, which was a weird season for Sebastian.
Well,
anyway.
not just last year, but there's several years. But
yeah,
the end at Ferrari.
Anyway,
he's lackluster.
Yeah, I mean, you see what I mean. So I think the comparison still stands, for different reasons. But
I know I'm not putting down the comparison in that respect. I think it's different in some senses because Vettel is very talented, as we know, but if we're right about the rake business with the lack of downforce from the floors because of the width restriction on the floors now, and that's making it or going to make people try and use higher rakes, Sebastian's in trouble again because that's what they did last year at Ferrari. They had a high rake car.
No, yeah. No, I mean on that point.
So, hang on a minute. Yeah, so I'm just saying I think Sebastian is going to have a rough year again, just because they've changed the rules against him.
No, I mean you're right about that. If you want to put it like that, Ricciardo had some background with the Red Bull, so he might have some more information. It is also true that that the Aston is basically last year Mercedes, so they're starting from a way better platform than that the McLaren starts. At least from the get-go.
No, that's right? What I'm saying. No, I'm making that exact opposite point.
Okay.
Because it's last year's Mercedes, because it's a low-rate car, and because they've now had to put the 21 restrictions of a less downforce from the rear floor, especially to guide the air around the tyres. Right, which is the issue with high-rate cars. All right, so because those teams that have now worked out or have already worked out how to do it, right, then they don't have that problem, right? And Sebastian doesn't like the rear end, as you were saying correctly for the last few years. He doesn't like a rear end which is very loose, and of course that's what those Mercedes cars are going to have to do. They're going to have to jack the rear ends up, okay, in order to try and generate some more downforce for the rear end. And every time they do that, they're going to run into problems with the braking of the car, because that changes the ride height at the rear. And of course, they don't have a suspension which can deal with that, or the consistency of the airflow around the rear end to keep the downforce there.
Yeah, I understand what you say. I mean, you're wrong, but I understand what you say. But
okay, that's great. well, fantastic. All right, well, let me throw the other reason why you were talking bullshit. Is that, of course, Ricciardo beat both Vettel and Verstappen when the Red Bull wasn't quite so good, okay? So let's just keep that in mind. But it's not the same, because actually Ricciardo was better at Red Bull in the last couple of years.
I think the operative word here is was better. Was is the key word there. But carry on.
Well, I don't think Sebastian Vettel's done any better since. Let me put it that way. Whereas the Ricciardo has definitely kept up with his game, because he's been driving a dog of a car. But anyway.
But you see but that's another problem. I mean, we've seen that years and years. It is kind of easier to make some exploit, something amazing with a dog car, rather than a better car where you're expected to deliver. I mean, last year, who was the guy which won? I think he won Monza with the AlphaTauri.
Gasly.
Yeah, I mean, Gasly seems to me was the next world champion with that car. Everybody was talking, and he made actually a very good race. But
sorry.
Spooky, fuck you. But yeah.
Okay, so anyway, McLaren a really good shot this year, I would say. Really good shot. They actually look the best of the rest. If Mercedes can get their shit together, they look the best of the rest. Right. If not, oh dear, we're in for a very dry year, because Max Verstappen winning every single race is going to be fairly tedious as far as I'm concerned. Although it would make a change.
I got a very interesting fact. Something that I think that Walker Murray would be proud of. If you look when they make all the times and the pilots, and they got the small flag, you will see that who is the guy which is riding with the Haas? The Mazepin, is it Mazepin?
Oh, Mazepin, yeah.
Look closely, and the flag is white.
Okay, yeah.
And the reason is, I think that there's been something which has to do with the Olympics and stuff like that. That basically all the Russian athletes have been disqualified. They cannot show the Russian flag. So the flag is white. And let me see if I can find something about that. And the other funny thing is that Haas, which is an all-American car, is actually sprouting a really interesting Russian flag. So I don't know if Trump had something to do with that. I don't know, but yeah.
No, I love it. I love it. Yeah, you actually got to one of my jokes, which is the American communist car. But nonetheless, it's basically they're sponsored by Russian money this year. So that's what we're talking about there. The Haas, which is Gene Haas, by the way, people, a great American car racer. His team Haas use an Italian engine still, and which they bought with Russian money. So when I say the all-American team, obviously I'm joking, being sarcastic. And they will be at the back of the grid, of course, this year, all year. A, they've got 2 rookies, and B, they've already said that they're not going to develop their car at all, and they're going to work strictly on next year's car. So they're going to start at the back of the grid, and they will finish at the back of the grid, and not just the back of the grid, but probably a couple of laps in the back of the grid, right? I mean, they're going to be lapped maybe by lap 15, 16, probably. On some circuits, so yeah. I mean, I don't know what they're doing. They could have saved themselves a shitload by just getting Luigi's fucking ice cream van and running that, and they would at least made some money then. You know what I mean? At pit stops. They would have made some money at pit stops. Oh, how do I do it? How do I do it? I write this joke. You wouldn't believe it, but I write this joke.
No, I would believe it.
Oh, would you? Okay, I don't, because I don't write them. But anyway, that's besides the point. So Haas at the back of the grid. Next up, of course, the Williams team, my team, which is such a shame. It's such a shame. Why can't they just fucking do something right? But of course, they are switching over to a high-rate car for the first time this year as well. And that undoubtedly means that Jim Russell. No, Russell Crowe. No, George Russell will be at the back of the grid. So that's another disappointing thing. But it'll be good to see him outdrive the car again. And his teammate, of course, is... don't know who. Can't remember. Who's his teammate? Oh, Jack Latifi. Jacques Lafitte? No, Latifi.
Latifi. It's Nicolas Latifi. I mean, you're making a mess with Jacques Lafitte and Nicolas Latifi. I mean, it's...
What can I say? I'm just picking names randomly out of a hat, to be fair. Just getting some old Canadian or French name, whatever. Anyway, so yeah, Nicolas Latifi, whose father is from the... Oh, I don't know, what do they do? I don't know what his father does, but he sponsors him for Williams, which is obviously paid to drive. And if we thought that the other paid to drive driver, which was Stroll, was bad, then this guy's going to be even worse. So never mind. But anyway, it's going to be another Mr. Saturday for Keith Russell. I mean Jack Russell. I mean George Russell. So yeah, it'd be another Mr. Saturday, as I dare say. He will outqualify his teammate 23-0 this year.
Yeah.
But there you go. Okay, so next up we've probably got Alphas, one of the Alphas, the Alfa Romeo team, would you say, or can you think of a different team?
No, I can think of the Alfa Romeo. I mean,
I'm going from the back of the grid to the front of the grid.
No. I mean the Alfa. Well, I mean,
yeah, for next.
Kimi has been amazing. He made something like 250 laps, 230 laps, something fucking amazing. Yeah. So I mean, the guy's got an age, but still, I mean,
yeah, he's 143 this year.
Yeah, right.
That's pretty cool. He's done 8,000 races, and he did the most laps in testing. One of the oldest guys on the grid. Yeah. Maybe not the most, but near enough. So anyway, Alpha up next, I would say. So as I said, it's going backwards. Number 10, we got Haas. Number 2, we've got Williams. Then I'm saying Alpha.
Listen, I don't know. I really don't know about the Alpha. I'm not being, I'm not being funny here. And the reason why I really don't know about it, it's because, so we have, I mean, at least the only data that we have was last year, right? And again, it's a big if. I grant you that it's a big if. But if the thing about the engine is true, we really have no idea if that chassis is good or not. So there might be something, and I'm not saying that we'll see the Alpha in the first 6 positions, but I really don't know. I don't know if the Alpine is really that much faster of the Alpha, for example. I don't know if the Aston Martin, with the problems that you said before that you were wrong, of course, is going to be really that better car than that one, because and the only reason I'm saying that is really Alfa Romeo and Ferrari, and well, even the Haas, if you want to put it like that, but the Haas doesn't have the drivers, to be fair. It's
no
really
development. No chance.
it's really difficult to say where they should be. So I don't know.
But yeah, and yet this is what I'm doing. It's amazing. It's amazing. It's because I'm actually a mind reader. It's not that actually I'm a mind reader. It's because I know somebody who is omniscient.
Yeah.
Do you know who that is?
No. Who's that?
Sir Lewis Hamilton.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. You see, you thought I was going to say Jesus, but I didn't. Anyway, moving on. So I reckon Alfa Romeo next. Obviously, we got Kimi and his teammate Giovinazzi. Yeah, I don't know if he is a Nazi or not. I'm just saying.
Don't.
It's in his name. It's in his name.
Well, listen, man, don't do that, because I can do a cartwheel, and say that there's a lot of people who says that the royals in Great Britain are Nazi, and the fact that Lewis Hamilton now has been appointed as a sir, might turn him to the first black Nazi ever. So I mean, you see where I'm going. So you don't want to go there.
Oh dear, yeah. There you go.
And Hitler was a vegetarian too, so
yes, that's fair enough.
Yeah.
My first pick would have been Jesus. No, Lewis Hamilton. Okay, anyway, just moving on then. So
and he has a black car. And he drives a black car.
Not so much anymore. That was.
It's a German black car.
It is a German black car.
So
that's irony.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So you want to talk about Nazi again? Because.
Okay. Well, I'll give it a miss for the moment. Let me just
right.
Say that then. So you give it back in. So next up, I think we've got. Well, I don't know who's going to be actually next. It's difficult to say whether it's going to be Ferrari or not. I'm going to hope that they're teabagging and that they're actually going to end up a lot faster by the middle of the year. And I'm going to say next up for me will be Aston Martin. Which case we're talking Sebastian Vettel, 2 times world champion, and Lance Stroll, not ever going to be a champion.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to write that down because you're not disagreeing.
Nope.
Okay, Aston Martin, a great British name, which is obviously a Canadian car.
Yeah.
Okay, so very strange.
Well, it's actually a German car, bought by a Canadian.
Well, okay, German car. No, it's not really. It's a British car with a German engine. Yeah, like the Mercedes. Mercedes is in fact a British car.
Yeah.
The German engine. Anyway, moving on. So Sebastian Vettel, Lance Stroll. I don't know. Maybe they will surprise us. I think if Mercedes sort out their problem in terms of in a couple of races, then there's a good chance for Aston to move up the grid. But right now, I'm going to put them in 6th place anyway and see how we're going. Okay, so next up, I would put AlphaTauri. AlphaTauri? How do you pronounce it? They're in Italian.
AlphaTauri.
AlphaTauri. Beg your pardon. Yeah, so AlphaTauri and their drivers, that great Italian, Pierre Gasly, and also the Scottish guy, Yuki Tsunoda.
Yeah.
Now, I'm wrong on 2 of those. See if you can guess which 2.
Well, listen, man. if Mercedes is a British car, AlphaTauri is an
yeah.
Italian one. So
Yeah, that's fair enough. That is fair enough. Although technically it's made in Britain. Anyway, so you would agree maybe AlphaTauri next? Oh my God, this is.
I don't know. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. So yeah, I'm gonna say yes until.
Oh, I see. Well, we're going backwards as to where they'll finish. These are our predictions for next year. So, or at least they're mine anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I disagree on all of them, but I will say yes anyway. I will say no at the end of it, just at the end of it.
Okay, and then I'm going to go with Alpine. This is the controversial one because Alpine could have gone anywhere. I say Alpine. That's not how you pronounce it because it's an Italian team. It's Alpina.
No. It's a French team, and it's pronounced Alpine.
Oh, it's a French. Okay, well, yes, you are the expert,
yeah.
So that's fair enough. Alpine. So remember, I'll try and remember that, like Al's penis, Alpine.
Yeah.
Us.
Yeah.
Okay, that's great. And their drivers, of course, as I said, is Pierre Gasly and Yuki Tsunoda. So Pierre Gasly won in that car last year against all the odds.
Sorry, Alpine, the drivers are Tsunoda and Gasly right now. What the fuck happened? Is there something I don't know?
Yeah, someone got dropped again. Was it Albon?
No. Hold on a second. You're talking about Alpine.
Yeah, Alpine. Oh no, beg your pardon. Yeah, no, he's right. This is why he's the expert.
Listen, I mean, I've been drinking whiskey, right? I mean, yeah.
He's the expert. Hang on. He's the expert.
Yeah.
It's not me. You might. Yeah. I know you'd be confused, but he's
I'm slightly drunk. There you go.
And he's drunk. Well, that means we've got to finish up. We've been going an hour 6 as
well.
Yeah. But it's fucking time we get through this. This is the last thing we're going to do. I'm just going to rope the teams, get predictions for the top 3 from Fabio first, though, because I feel like I'm giving him the answers. But anyway, we'll see. Let's just get through this. So Alpine next, and the Alpine drivers are, of course, Esteban Ocon, another Italian, and Fernando Alonso, another Italian.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Okay, so, and of course, Alonso, 2-time world champion, fantastic. And the very fancied, used to be a German driver, Esteban Ocon, who was let go by the Mercedes squad, but ended up in various other places.
Yeah.
That is pretty much what I said. Hang on a second, let me just keep up with the messages.
Yeah. I gotta wake up at 4 a.m. Come on,
I can't go any quicker. I'm flagging. Okay, we're not going to show that one. We'll show this one. Did he say Al's penis?
Yeah.
No, I said Alpine. Nurse. Slightly different. Yeah, I don't know why you guys are so surprised. Of course, of course.
He has a fixation for penises, so.
I do.
There you go, yeah.
Especially if they're great in spirit, like Al is supposed to be. Allah, you see. Anyway, moving on to other omniscient people. Back to Lewis Hamilton. He's coming up soon. Okay, so that's Alpine, I reckon, is the next one. Then we're probably going to go with... Done those. So it's got to be McLaren next. I guess. McLaren. Write that down. McLaren. You don't disagree with McLaren?
I mean, carry on. I mean, I will tell you by first 3 later on.
All right, Lando Norris and Ricciardo are the 2 races there. Ricciardo, very fancied. He's a very fun guy to be around, apparently, but he is also very fast on 1 lap and can drive a pretty mean race now. So he's an all-round driver. I really fancy him this year because this car is going to suit him. Lando Norris, of course, the young hotshot who is probably 20 now or something. And is again got a great sense of humour and is very, very fast on 1 lap and is fast learning how to drive a whole race. So again, what a great pairing, a very exciting pairing for this year. I think they're going to get in amongst them. And now we got the next 3. So I'm going to put the next 3 down quickly. Ferrari, which is Leclerc Science, Red Bull, and of course Mercedes to win it again.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say anything fucking different. So
I
Ferrari, Red Bull, and Mercedes.
I
That's my top
I,
three.
I agree on the first three. The third spot, I think it's problematic. I would say there is a good chance that Ferrari, AlphaTauri, and McLaren are really close. So that's going to be really tricky. I don't think that Red Bull is going to win the championship this year. I don't think so. I think they probably shit the bed somewhere, sometime during the season for some fucked up reason, and we will all going to blame Max Verstappen because I mean it's really tricky. I think it's world championship material, but I cannot see it being a world champion until he becomes a world champion. If you know what I mean,
No.
it's really tricky. It's a problem. It's always a gamble. We know it will get there. It's just when it will get there that it's really tricky. And every year it becomes more difficult. So he has to keep up the pace. But the first spot is always. It seems to me there's always something missing. I don't know if it's the team. I don't know if it's him. I don't know if it's his state of mind or whatever. But it's tricky. So I don't know.
Yeah, no, I kind of agree with that. I think he's a racer, and he's a racer in the Schumacher sense of the word, which is he races from lights to flag, and that has been the rules have been going against that for quite a few years now. So until maybe next year in 22, when they bring in the new car, maybe they'll be able to race lights to flag then. But I think until the rules go back to favouring less conservation of the car and more outright speed, I think then he's not going to be world champion.
Yeah, I mean,
mainly because there are other world champions on the grid which are going to do it that much better. And I think that's a shame. And he will learn, obviously. He's already learned fuel economy and tyres. But I think the point is he still just uses up his goodies, his sweeties. He uses his sweeties too quickly, too fast. And he doesn't actually spread them out. So it's not... Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I mean, I understand you, and I kind of agree with that. There is a big difference between people which can win races and people which can win championships. It's different. A Rosberg, for example, is a good example. He was never, I mean, of course, he was driving the best car, of the lot, right? Mm-hmm. There is no doubt in my mind. But he also had, one of the best drivers in his team. But Keke, his mind approach was of a world champion. He was the kind of guy which would have said, listen, I'm gonna spend this year, and while everybody else is gonna age 1 year, I'm probably gonna age 10 years, because that's what he did. But I'm going to win the championship. And he was able to do that because he could put his mind in such a state, and he was able to do that. Verstappen, I don't know. I think that Verstappen wants to be a multiple world champion, and I think this is what is going to get at him. He cannot win the first one because he doesn't strike me as the kind of guy which wants to win one world championship. He wants to win multiple world championships. And is burning him the fact that he's not able to win one. And he's had his chances, he had his, well, I would say not too many chances, but he should have been way farther ahead than he's always been, and this, I think, is something that is gnawing at him. And which, by the way, it's going to be the same thing that is going to happen to Leclerc the moment that he has a good car, because I think that right now is kind of a peace of mind within itself, because he knows that he doesn't have the means to do that.
Yeah.
The moment he's going to have a fast car, that feeling is going to come at him.
Yeah, I see.
Leclerc is, there is a joke around here. It's called the, how do you call it? Predestination.
Yeah, the future. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. So he's always referred to him as the guy which is going to win.
Ah, the once and future king. Yeah.
Right. And he knows that it puts a lot of pressure. And right now, the only reason why it hasn't exploded, and I mean in a bad way, is because he knows that I mean I will be the king. It's just not my time. He knows it's not his time.
Yeah,
With
yeah. For sure.
with Verstappen, I don't know. I think that the I think that it burns him the fact that Lewis was able to win so many championships in a row, but won. So the fact that Lewis has been shown that he can be beaten, not only in a race but in a championship. So he knows that, and he knows that it's possible, and he wants to be that guy. It's
for sure.
kind of the same thing which happened with I mean it's a little bit stretch as an example, but you bear with me. This kind of the same thing which happened with Jacques Villeneuve and Michael Schumacher. If or Montoya, basically.
Montoya, maybe. Yeah.
Montoya and Schumacher, because he saw Jacques able to win, and Montoya was a really fast one, but he couldn't get it, so he was really frustrated by all of that.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I mean, a couple of things there. I mean, I think Leclerc's in a different boat. Yes, maybe he will suffer from the pressure of having the fastest car and being expected to win, especially in a Ferrari garage, because let's face it, that's when the pressure's really on.
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons Lewis has been able to do his back-to-backs, is because he hasn't been put under that pressure from within. And also, he learned early on that first year in Formula One where he was so outstanding, possibly the best rookie that has ever been in all of motorsport ever. And he nearly won the championship, and he would have won the championship if it wasn't for a silly rookie mistake. I think he learnt in that championship that nerves of steel are required, and that's when he started setting up this period. But he hasn't been put under the pressure that someone like Vettel has, or Alonso was, and it takes a very special person not to react to that. Someone like Kimi, for instance, who just doesn't give a fuck. So that's kind of how people you got to deal with Ferrari pressure. But it is immense, and I think that will stand Leclerc in great stead when he is put in a position where he has an equal car or the best car on the grid. So I'm actually really excited about Leclerc. I think the pastry is going to be around for a long time, and he is going to be the one that's going to piss Max Verstappen off. Because again, I think Leclerc has such a racing brain on his head, that he is able to do what Alonso can do, what Hamilton can do, which is know what needs to be done at what point in the race and how much he can take out of his car to get to the finish race and get to the finish line in the fastest time. Something that Verstappen has no idea to do.
No, you're right.
He's so focused on winning.
You're right.
He's so focused on it that he literally can't go, okay, even if I drive to second place, that's better than just trying to win and failing completely.
Leclerc, I think that Leclerc is as fast as Verstappen, maybe a little bit more. But let's say, well, it's my opinion, so fuck you. I'm right.
Thank you.
Let's say that he is as fast as Verstappen. The thing that Leclerc does is that Leclerc is driving like a driver which has 10 years more experience than he has.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's really, really, really precious. That's why I think that is way superior to Verstappen. I mean,
as an all-round racer, I don't think he's as fast. I think Verstappen has the pace. He's able to handle the really front heavy cars. He's able to do that. Unlike and Leclerc isn't. I think Leclerc is more like a Damon Hill style driver, which is just able to really use the car in a very neutral way. And that is, of course, in the Prost fashion. When I say neutral, I mean like Prost could get a car to cross the finish line and fall apart on the slowdown lap, and he would literally, he was that good at preserving cars. So, he got cars home that nobody else could. Remember, like Senna did that time at Monaco, right? Where
I mean, if you listen to what you said, you just compare Leclerc to Prost and Senna and Damon Hill. So, I mean, you see where I'm going with that,
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I think he's going to be multiple world champion. I think he's going to be the one to piss Verstappen off, because Verstappen's going to be the fast driver, and he's not going to get the number of championships that Leclerc will, even though Leclerc won't be in such a good car as Verstappen. That's my prediction, because people can recognize Verstappen's natural talents in Formula One, which is amazing car control and very late braking. And those two things are dramatic. They look great, and if you can race, and if the Formula goes your way, and they start having cars which are very robust, with tires that are very robust, all right, then it will make a difference, and you'll see Verstappen, the multiple world champion. But if the cars remain, you've got to just nurse them across the line. You've really got to take as little out of them as possible. Then Leclerc's going to be much the favoured driver. And maybe there's not a lot of difference in speed, but carry on.
No, we really got to wrap it up, because we really got to go to bed.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so just moving on then quickly. I haven't got too much to say, other than Red Bull in second place, which is going to be a bit surprising. I don't think it'll start that way. I think Red Bull will dominate the early season. But unlike previous years, they won't keep developing their car as long as Mercedes will. And I think Mercedes will end with a good end season, mid-season to end season, where they have developed the new car that they'll need to bring to race against Red Bull's speed. And Lewis will have learnt to drive it, more importantly. And so I think he'll catch up and pass at the end. And that would be my predictions for saying Ferrari, Red Bull, Mercedes. In terms of the people, of course, we're talking Verstappen. We're talking Verstappen in the Red Bull, Leclerc in the Ferrari, and Lewis Hamilton in the Mercedes, of course. So that's the predictions for this year. A couple of questions here for you, though, Fabio.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, what is your top three? So Ferrari, Red Bull, Mercedes, yeah?
No, it would be Mercedes, Red Bull, Ferrari.
Yeah, I was reading backwards.
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
But yes, great. Okay. So GeoSam says, what do you think about the decision to keep running the 1.6 litre V6s? Rumours say this changes to lure new manufacturers into the game.
They have congealed everything because of COVID, so that's the reason why they haven't made any changes. Even on the chassis, everything's been congealed. There were new rules supposed to be, put in place this year. They're gonna postpone it to next year.
That's still a V6, though, is that right?
It should still be a V6, I mean, but every time there are rumors, we had rumors of Porsche jumping in, some other manufacturers. I don't know. I think that the power unit is stupidly complicated right now, and it's everybody who wants to jump in. They know they have a massive hill to climb. I mean, think about what happened to Honda. They've been there, for years. And I mean, they just decide to retire now that apparently they got a really good engine. So fuck me if I know what the fuck happens with the bloody Japanese.
They keep doing this. Honda did this last time, didn't they?
They
pulled out the year before they were world champions.
Yeah, I don't
unbelievable. Unfucking believable.
And
again, I understand. As far as I know about it, it's politics. This is what someone who is omniscient told me. It's down to the politics in Japan, and the actual Honda company doesn't want to be in Formula One. They haven't wanted to be in Formula One for quite some time, but because there was one of the people that were close to the family that ran it, or the family that traditionally ran it, I should say, they were keen to keep the Formula One team going, so funds were diverted. But actually, the board really wasn't very keen about it because it cost them so much money. And presumably their stock price hasn't suffered as a result. So That's the why. As for the engines, from my point of view, no, I think they've decided to keep the V6 1.6 litre engines till 2025.
Man,
Or
maybe. Yeah,
I think it's
something like
2025. They're talking about it, and 26 they're going to change it.
that. Mhm.
And that's because the manufacturers couldn't agree or didn't want extra the manufacturers in there didn't want more manufacturers coming in. So, and they've spent so much money on these engines, as Fabio says, because they're so complex. They want their bang for their buck. So basically, no, they wanted to keep the ERS and stuff. But the rumor I've heard is that they are going to change the engines, and they are, more importantly, going to change the fuel. And we're going to be running something called e-fuel, which is same old shit with a new name.
Right. Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah.
So yeah, but obviously sourced in a very E way.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever that means.
Yeah.
Anyway, E's the buzzword this year, anyway, for motorsport.
Right.
So there you go. There's several new E's coming out. And as the band said, E's are good. E's are good. That's it. Thank you very much. V6 is loud as fuck. No.
Man,
Not
I mean,
really.
V10s were really loud,
Don't go. I'm mad.
and V12s were louder still.
Insane.
So,
Well, I don't
yeah.
think they were louder, but they were a different sound, and they were just as beautiful. No, I went to Silverstone one year when the V12 was still there, and they had V10s and V12s. Everybody else had V10s, but Ferrari still ran V12s.
Yeah.
This was back in the 90s, probably. Yeah, I mean, I remember standing by bridge, like maybe, I don't know, 15 foot away from the cars as they went by at 140. And oh my word, what a sound.
Yeah.
You could feel the ground, including the bridge, just shaking. But the Ferraris sounded just the best car out there. But they weren't quite as loud as the V10s going by.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it
loud.
depends from the pressure from the exhaust and stuff like that. I mean, I remember last time I heard the V10s was in Valencia in 2004, I think.
Oh, okay, yeah, that would have been Schumacher time, yeah.
Yeah. No, yeah, Schumacher was there. Actually met him in the paddocks. They were testing. It was a pre-season test where they used to do that kind of stuff. And we were there to test the motorcycles. So we came in the day before and they were testing, the cars. Actually, there was only Mclaren testing, and all the other ones were testing after we tested. But they were setting up shop, basically. And yeah, I mean, the only thing I can tell you is that when we started the motorcycle engine in the box, it would have been better to have earplugs because it was a really deep rumble, and and I remember the floor was essentially that was shaking, right? And then I went, because I was there, just for shit and giggles. I was actually there, looking at the data. Well, I digress. So they invited me in the McLaren box, when they started the engine of the car. It was there. So with the motorcycle, you were supposed to have earplugs, and the floor was shaking. That fucking thing, when it started, was bloody painful. It was insane. So yeah. Indeed. The V10s were the best era for me as well. I mean, not the best era for motor racing, but the best era for engines. Yeah, I mean, the car was shit. I mean, I did not like any car, the V10. Started from Kimi. Okay. No, I never liked them. They were
I believe Schumacher still has a lap record from a V10.
Listen,
cars, but they're pretty damn fast.
No. I'm just saying, looking at the cars, I think the car looked like shit.
Yeah, for sure.
But the engine was fuck me sideways.
Yeah. Even the Japanese V10 was something special.
Yeah.
But as I told you before, I went to see Yamaha with Hager on it, and that first 750 that they came out with. Yeah. And that was racing against 1,000cc superbikes, and Hager pissed all over them.
Yeah.
I mean, he was.
Anyway, okay, man.
Moving on quickly. So that's the last one. I just wanted to say a couple of things. I'm so looking forward to this season, Fabio. I really am. This is the first season that we've gone into it without a clear number one. Although I've got to say, Red Bull looked amazing and clearly the best in the field as far as I could see. I don't think they'll remain that way for too long, but nonetheless, I'm so pleased to see that. I'm pleased to see the midfield have all closed up, apart from the two rear teams. So I think we're looking at Alpha to McLaren or Alpinus as they're going to be shared. Oh, just one last little thing to say as well about the. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying that I don't think there is a midfield anymore. I think there is just a field, which is going to be super interesting.
Okay, so thank you very much, everybody. I'll just end on this. I've got to say, I really hope that Ferrari can get their oil leak fixed, Fabio.
What the fuck is that?
You didn't see, but all 3 days of the test, they had a terrible oil leak at the back of the car, which was spraying oil all over the rear wing and all over the back of the car. Did you not see that?
I have no fucking idea what you're talking about. Honestly, I have no idea.
Just every time I saw this Ferrari go by, all I could see was a lovely red car, right, with oil all over the back of it. I mean, it was still red. You could see the red through, but it just looked really oily at the back. So I'm assuming that they had a really bad oil leak.
Okay. Yeah.
And you couldn't even see the writing on the rear wing because it was so oily.
I really have no idea. I haven't seen that, but yeah, okay. I'll take your word for it.
If I had a picture of I probably do. Let me just. Oh no, they don't. I don't actually. I don't have a picture of the Ferrari car. But if you think about it, what colour is it at the back?
It's black.
At the back of the car?
Yeah.
No, it's not black, is it?
It's always been black. What the fuck
are you talking about?
I don't know.
Have you not seen the Ferrari car this year? Right, I'm going to have to look for the picture now. You're disappointing me, but okay.
I don't know where you're going with that.
I will show you. Very sure. I can't really explain it. But nonetheless, we're going to give it a go. F1. Ferrari F1. There we go. Oh dear, no, look.
Yeah, Tom, I have no fucking idea. I mean, I feel there is a joke there. It's just that I have no idea what the fuck he's talking about. So, yeah, that's going to be interesting.
Right, okay, hang on a second. Let me just get it on track. There we go. Save image. Bahrain. Bahrain. There we go. Share. Mumble. Sorry about this. I should have set this up earlier.
Yeah.
I do apologise. Oh, I almost tried to share the wrong thing there. Application. Share. There we go. Can you see that? See, look at there you go, all of the back of it. Look, that's all just as a huge oil leak somewhere around here. There's oil all the way from here to the back. You can't even see the writing on the rear wing. There's so much oil on it.
I am so happy that they made you work that much for that shit of a joke. I'm so happy about that. And I swear to God, I didn't know what the fuck you were going with that. If I knew, I would have done the same. So yeah, there you go.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh dear, I've done it again.
Yeah.
Let me just see. Oh no, I've done it again. There you go. See that? Yeah. Look at that. All that oil on the back.
Yeah.
You can hardly read the writing. Yeah. I mean, what a shit fucking colour to rate a Ferrari. I've got to say that. That is just bollocks rubbish, the worst looking car on the grid. I even think Fabio will agree with me that is the shittest Ferraris he's seen in years.
Listen, cars are beautiful when they're fast. If that car is fast, it's gonna be a fucking amazing. So
yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's the shittest Ferrari for fucking years because we know it's not gonna be fast.
I mean, right now the shittest Ferrari has been last year Ferrari. Let's see if this one can take the the rain.
All right. I just think it's a very obscure. I mean, you thought I was going to say this green up here, which looks terrible as well. So I think this is going to be voted in the future as the worst looking Ferrari for fucking donkeys.
I mean, I mean,
Don't start there. You
Listen.
may be an expert. You may
No.
be an expert on fucking Italian stuff.
I
But I'm an expert on art.
yeah,
me,
of course, yeah.
Trust me, this is no Picasso.
Yeah.
Notice I chose a Spanish painter.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, time to go. Thank you so much, Fabio. I'll
Okay.
see you in 2 weeks' time
Yeah.
after the Bahrain Grand Prix, as if we haven't seen enough fucking cars going around Bahrain.
Right.
Oh, God, why can't they go back to European testing? Anyway,
Okay,
thank
man.
you everybody for coming in. We really appreciate it, and we will see you in 2 weeks' time, I hope. And
Yeah.
enjoy. Thank you very much.
Cheers.
Good
Bye
night.
bye.